Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm very happy to have Carlo here. Carlo, we start as always, like with everybody, giving the opportunity to introduce yourself. You tell us who you are, what do you do, and then after we start with the usual interview.
Luigi, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here because it's a really good opportunity to actually talk about like this topic and how like is going on with the connection between artificial intelligence and the creative culture and creative industries, creativity in general. I'm here, I suppose, Luigi, you invite me because first of all, I'm an economist in the cultural sector. That was my graduation in Rotterdam. I used to work still in the culture and creative industries, mostly as a manager and as a economic developer, I would like to say. And I'm really into the relation between, urban, between the cities. What is the impact of culture and creative industries in urban context? And I'm really into that for several reasons. My second layer, I would like to say, of investigation, but it's always connected to this one, is the relation between creativity and technology. I used to do that with the Materahub of Harvard, which is, I would say, a research lab, a think tank with really extraordinary, beautiful people. I would say I'm very glad to be part of that research club, I would like to say. And so yeah, there is connection between the things because like most of the time the connection between technology and creativity is a language, meaning that is specifically a way to make research and interpret the reality. At the same time, is a tool. And so we have to think about like how technology can empower culture and creative organization in make their impact. So that's why I told you before that the things are connected, because in this way, what's the technology can be useful for this kind of organization to make their impact in local contexts, urban contexts, communities, and so on and so on.
I like very much the fact that, we are trying to, we did try to find a pool of people to interview that were a little bit diverse in order to have different views on this. We got a person that is more on the AI development side, so a guy who created basically a platform training on AI. And we also focused after on different specific professionals working in the cultural creative sector, asking them very concrete questions on what are the AI tools that they use. You are a little bit in the intersection between the two. That's why we like your profile. Let's dive directly into this. Would you have any experience with AI tools as a creative and cultural professional? What are these ones that you use the most? How did you get to use them? In the sense that what it was out of curiosity, for example. At some point, I remember for me it was like that a couple of years ago, everybody started to use that. I'm never the first to use new things, but after I started to use it, and I find it pretty mind-blowing, I have to say, because my work is based on creating content, essentially. So I'm running proposals, and then it was really fitting, for example, the most common, I would say, AI platform. How was the experience for you, and how is your level of usage of AI today in your daily work, I would say?
So I think we have to start from an assumption that is that the pervasivity, the quantity of artificial intelligence systems are really, I would say, it's really big. It's a lot, and it's much more than we think. As you mentioned before, we are like there is like this sentence that as someone told me a lot of time ago, that was like if your taxi driver talk about something, that is the time to that is the time to leave that topic, I would like to say, meaning that in that case the sentence was about crypto, but this actually can be generalized on artificial intelligence. So right now we are in the position that it's really a huge and broad topic, and my mother can talk about artificial intelligence and so on. But the point is that, as you know, like system of machine learning are used and was used in a lot of time, I would say, during the years, and the application that we don't see actually are really a lot. So when you ask me about the tools that I use it, I would like to say that, of course, as probably many of us in jobs that are really like generative oriented in terms of content that we have to design and create, I am that kind of person that use a lot, and I will arrive to that point, tools of generative artificial intelligence, you know. But at the same time, I'm quite sure that I use it a lot of others artificial intelligence tools, even if I don't know. And I want to make you an example about that. Just even to add something more about me. Like in the last 2 years, I created a startup which is called 3D Xer. This startup is with my father, which uses 3D technologies, especially scanning, but also printing. And right now, the software that is used for the 3D scanning, which is Arctic. Arctic is the hardware, but is also the software part. Right now, is facilitated more and more by artificial intelligence systems that recognize what you scanned and help you in fasten up the processes of obtaining the digitalization of that. So I did it. I said it really in a really short sentence, but actually this is what the system does and did. So the point is that there is an overwhelming, and it's good in this way. But personally, as I was saying before, I use it a lot, like generative artificial intelligence systems. And mostly ChatGPT, but with the organization with I collaborate with, which is Materahub, for example, we use the Google one system, so Gemini, and I use it a lot, especially for helping me making some reflection and deepening some of the things I do, and I do especially for research. So I use that for amplify the research, fastening up, collecting sources, comparing the sources. It's really crucial right now, and I started use it in 1 year, and the usage that I started to do, it's really much more than what I was what I could think 1 year ago.
I think that for me it was exactly the same. This come back a little bit to the pervasivity that you said before, no? Very interesting, this thing that you said, that there are a lot of hidden artificial intelligence tools that we don't even know, that we are actually using every day. But this second point is very interesting. Sometimes I get really scared of it. It was for me the same, maybe a little bit more than 1 year, but not that much actually. And right now it's impossible for me to think that I don't have it anymore. And it's like,
Sure.
In 1 year, it's like really mind blowing. It changed completely. It was very deep in a way. Even if I use it for very basic stuff, a little bit like you. And did you witness as well an incredible improvement, an upgrade of the system? For example, in terms of data, or research, just as you said, I remember that at the beginning it was not like that. While instead, right now, it's true that we worked a lot on our interaction with the tool. So on the prompt, on the prompting, that we improved probably, but it is also true that they upgraded the system a lot, and right now the answer that gives is like much deeper or much more precise. It depends on whatever you need. Did you witness the same? I mean, do you have the same opinion or the same feeling about this?
Sure, it's how I can say, it cannot go in another direction, I would like to say. I mean, meaning that the way the resources, and in terms of competencies, economic resources, data center, um, structure of the way of this artificial intelligence works, or let's say, it has to go in this direction, meaning that the quantity of users that use right now those tools is the reason why they are improving in this direction and so fast, because the quantity of data that they absorb every day helps to designing better and better on what the people needs. There are some layer of attention that we have to have. Like I think we should arrive at one point during this conversation about the critics and the things that we have to take care of using that, because it's like, as most of the time, especially with this kind of tools, we see like the front end part that is really user friendly, and it's it's really useful in this moment, as we are demonstrating right now. We are really confident and enthusiastic about the quantity of work that we are that this kind of tools is helping us. At the same time, we have to be aware of what we are using and doing, but this is in general, not only for artificial intelligence, in general in the World Wide Web world, I would like to say.
And these pose specific risks, I would say, for cultural and creative professionals. Not just as you pointed out, we can dive into it as well. It's very interesting. It's one of the part of the interview that is always the most interesting for us. What's about ethical concerns then in the use of artificial intelligence? In the case of cultural and creative professional, there are a lot of issues regarding privacy, for example, or in general, what is the border? Now, what is the limit of the interaction with the tools? Like, where humans start and finish, and where the machines start and finish. And another question that I remember we discussed in Bari as well when we meet, no? It's regarding sustainability, which is a sort of bomb that was ticking and probably exploded already. Like, what is the right balance between, I don't know, a conversation that I have on ChatGPT and putting myself on the spot here because I know how difficult is this, and I don't know, the amount of, for example, I read a couple of articles regarding the water consumption for keeping that data, those data, or the energy consumption in general. It's true that we witnessed as well a decrease in cost, possibly, in the sense that probably once the technology will develop, they will work on the consumption and probably on decreasing this cost, but still there will be more usage, maybe, that we can witness today. If we look at our usage, me and you individually, in 1 year, it grew exponentially. So also is there a balance or isn't? I mean, are people working on this? Are there any solutions that we can imagine in this field? So both ethical concern regarding privacy and the limit between human and AI tools and sustainability, knowing that these are very difficult questions because they are, in a way, answered. So the same questions are evolving as we speak.
Yeah, that's true. And we should be like in the headquarters of these companies in order to have the exact answer to this question. We can we can connect the dots and track things that is going to happen. And so first of all, I think that so there are two levels. One is about in my opinion, the data, and one is about the way these systems work. So starting from the data, we are so the systems that we use are systems that are I would like to call it, but maybe it's not like the proper way, but I would like to call it general, meaning that they scrape information from the internet in a quantity that is so the goal is the quantity, not the quality. So if the goal is the quantity, I'm gonna take everything that I can, everything. I mean, doesn't matter which kind of data I'm gonna take. And the second point is that the things that we mentioned before. So we are, the system right now is basing their database also on the synthetic data they are going to create. So the synthetic data refers to those data and information that are created directly by the artificial intelligence systems. So this means that if there is a bias, like whatever, and we can make some example, those bias are just reproduce it. So probably, and this is probably because we don't know, probably this kind of systems are using some way to adjust and to drive the way the artificial intelligence generative is going to give us an output about our inputs, probably. My only concern, but it's not just mine, is about especially it's about organization that is going to make a beautiful, incredible work of investigation in terms of the how long these kind of systems are in the position of protecting the human rights. Okay, and so the concerns of this organization and mine too is that is really, really difficult for humans in general, and so for those humans that control this artificial intelligence, meaning that is they own those technology, to actually really going into these data sets because there are too much, and because there is no willing. And there is no willing for the reason I told you before. That is, the point is the quantity and not the quality. So, I don't think the solution is easy, because we are talking about this, but we are the people that is using that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I think that we have to support, and also if we are in a position like making this kind of research too, but we have to support researchers as Joy Bolamwini, as Abeba Birain, but also the collective there that is based in South Africa, Algorithm Watch, Tactical Tech. All those guys are people, but also Materahub of Harvard. We in some way we make this kind of work. So all those guys that in this moment are investigating critically this kind of technology. It's not possible to in some way block the development. It's something that is totally unbearable. But to adjust the line. If you allow me, just to conclude, the second level. If you want to calculate this part, the second level is about the environmental sustainability. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we know that these systems, especially not the system itself, but the data center that we need for making the system works, are really, really water consuming, because the water is used to refrigerate, to cool down.
The cool down, I read exactly the same. Yeah. For example, it's something that I didn't know in my own ignorance, actually. I didn't expect, I was thinking about energy consumption. I didn't really link to water, but it's actually what you're saying is to cooling down the servers.
Yeah, and then the fun fact is that, for example, in US, the majority of these data centers are in places where water is a problem already. Not for the data center, for example, Arizona. And the reason why, really, Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, all of them has the data center in Arizona, or at least house in Arizona, because in Arizona, like the energy, since they use it a lot, like for example, solar energy, so like clean energy, the cost of the energy is lower. But what is going on is that really they are having like the small communities there, because I mean, as you know, like those states, especially in the Midwest and the center of US, are really small communities. Like there are the big cities, but majority are small communities. And right now, the small communities already are suffering the absence of water. Also for the data center.
I mean, I think that all in all, it comes back to what you were saying before, that until that quantity will prevail on quality, because this is essentially linked to profit, right? Their decision is because they want to make more money, which is something that I understand because they have to maybe cover some costs. But until I think that we don't get out from this logic, I mean, it will be very difficult to balance everything out. And regarding the first point that you said is also a question of representation, I would say. We witnessed this with the social media platforms, no, that we didn't think of like 20 years ago. The rise in and the growth in the social media usage was really incredible. It was I remember that there was a world without social media, and it was not so long ago. And today we see that there is a problem, no, in the way in which these companies are managed, that they don't represent probably enough people, no. So it's also a question of giving the ownership of this company to as many people as possible. And I also agree with you with supporting organizations that are a little bit looking at different side of it, not just at the technology side or the importance of this in terms of changing our daily life, let's say, but also in terms of protecting values and principles. No, above all, right now that this is growing really, and we don't know where this will end. Maybe there will be a moment in which, I don't know, everything will just stop for a while and after grow again. I don't know, but I think this is very important.
No.
It will just go.
Luigi, no, that's not possible. I was talking about like a really good friend of mine that is working for a big organization. I would like to say, I cannot say more. A big organization, and we were talking about this topic specifically from another point of view, meaning that the part of view was like the quantity of organization right now that are selling product and service connected to artificial intelligence, even if they never, like until 2 days ago never had like those kind of competencies into the organization. And he was saying that the I can say like the speed of right now development of this kind of system is so high that even if you stop right now for 2 years, still the systems will continue to develop and work. So it's really something that you can't stop in this moment. It's I mean, the only things I see right now that can really be a problem is an energy crisis. Because as we have the demonstrate, we are recording right now after that last week there was a problem in Spain that was totally blackout for 2 days, if I remember.
Not only, also Portugal and part of France, no? The south of France, it also as well. 1 day and a half, or 1 day, 2 days. So.
I mean, I don't know too much, but the part I understood that was connected to the interconnection of the energetic system. So the point is that, I mean, if we don't find a way to support also economically in terms of energy that is sustainable, because like right now is not sustainable for the planet and so on. I mean, this kind of system will not work because of course it's are connected with the energy and so on. So I mean, like, but I don't think the point is that should stop. I think that the point is that to find someone is trying to do is find the right approach to technology. It's always a matter of approach to technology. But from sorry, Luigi, not from just the way we use it, but from the way we design it, because like technology are not neutral.
Yeah.
I mean, like a gun is not neutral. A gun can kill a person. I mean, and you can say, well, of course, but it's a matter of the human that use it. Yeah, that's true, but it's a gun. I mean, it's not like so it's the way we design it, and is there that we have to make some pressure and the way it can work.
Open up, no? Maybe open up the design team and the design instruments, no? To make them as inclusive as possible, to be as representative as possible. And regarding the stop, for me, it was more about the uptake, I would say, not the development of the technology as such, but how it will be spread in our daily life and how it will grow. Because today I cannot really see an end for it. It's like really fast. If you look, indeed, as we said before at the beginning of this, in 1 year, how it has changed for us. And we do pretty common job in the end, like it's not that we do something like incredible. So we are like a little bit taxi driver, coming back to your example, in the sense that, we do a sort of common job based on creation of content, and that's how we use it, or research, whatever. So if this thing touched us, it means that it's pretty widespread, no? And I look at it, I mean, everybody right now use it for whatever, for looking for data, or strengthening data that they have already, preparing presentations, so something that is really like our daily life, I would say. So it's really difficult to see an end. As we are going towards the end of it, we know you are very busy, Carlo. A couple of questions left. Maybe one could be interesting because it really goes into the heart of our project. How would you see training and knowledge acquisition in this field in the future? Like us, I mean, will there be a training that we have to follow, or I don't know, is there a way that we need to upgrade our skills regarding this? What will be the field? Do you know any? Did you follow any training on artificial intelligence, for example, that for you was relevant and that you could recommend? Something like that regarding upgrade of skills of people, I would say.
So it's really, I think there are several courses and training right now. It depends really on the professionals and competencies you would like to apply those kind of systems. With right now with Materahub, with Sineglossa, Tlon, Basilicata Creativa, Distretto Basilicata Creativa, and the university in Naples. I'm sorry, like I'm forgetting some name of the partners. But by the way, we are working on an academy for artists and professionals from the cultural and creative industries regarding generative AI. So I can tell you about like the main approach we are going to have in this direction, that is based on other researches and approaches that were used for this specific target. But I will also like to invite, we are going to have like an open call for participating in Naples in October. So it will be like nationally, and there will be a first experimentation in this direction. But by the way, I think that the main point is that regarding creativity, and so those kind of professionals, there are, as in this case, several layers. First of all, it's a matter of how I can use for management. So how I can use the systems for helping me in, managing better my organization.
Like workflow as well, no?
Yeah, exactly. Starting from the assumption that as I told you before, that artificial intelligence systems are really right now, also we use it some software that we don't know, but actually they are going to use artificial intelligence. So the point is that how I can use to improve my work management, starting from the assumption that this organization most of the time has needs of being supported because are really micro organization and they don't have like enough quantity of people and competences for managing the complexity that they have to. So artificial intelligence is really important to understand how it can be adapted and used in that direction. Second level is about generation of content. So, for example, generation of content, as I told you before, that you are using in the communication part, generation of content also for project design, helping with also the artistic part, but this is, I would like to say, another level, I would like to say. So there is like the generational content, dealing with property, and that is really important. So what happened when I use these systems for creating new stuff? What happens to my content if I ask it to an artificial intelligence system to redesign, refine everything? So that is very important. The ethical part is another level too. So what we were saying right now, actually. And then I think that there is like a really, I would like to say, a philosophical part in terms of relation between human and technology that is really connected with the work of artists, because I think like the main interesting things, in my opinion, right now, in terms of understanding artificial intelligence, but also the usage we can have, is by artists. And so, like, how we can bring that approach, that is an artistic approach, to investigation of artificial intelligence. So, as you can see, there are several levels, and probably there are even others. We will need like even more time for an academy, but yeah.
I mean, it seems very comprehensive of all elements. It's very interesting, the first point, like AI tools for managing a workflow. Generally, maybe it's not like it's something that artists can really use. And it's very interesting what you said after, because in the end, what I also witness is that I find all this conversation extremely useful for understanding human work rather than artificial intelligence work.
That's true.
Meaning that
Okay.
by analyzing, I mean, what is the limit and what we can ask a machine to do, this is also a huge discussion and reflection on what is my role in this, like what will be then human in the end, and how I can use my time, and I can spend my time that is somehow freed by the use of a machine and system. Okay, super interesting. I mean, maybe the last question that I have is whether you have like a sort of advice for a cultural and creative professional that is in a way starting to use artificial intelligence, or maybe that it doesn't know whether to use it or not. Would you have a general advice for this kind of people, given the experience that you have with this, like really being on the intersection between the digital and the cultural and creative sector? Most of the people just to give an hint, let's say, most of the people that we interviewed really invite people to learn about this, like to be curious and to be open about this without having a very strong opinion. And this is very much, I would say, needed in a world where the discussion, the public discussion, if there is a public conversation about this, it seems to be very polarized, in the sense that there are people saying that, we shouldn't use AI, above all in the cultural and creative sector, where copyright is an issue, where it's very difficult to find a limit, and instead other people that say this is unstoppable, who think that not even this is unstoppable, but we should use because it makes democratize the access to certain things, for example. So it's very difficult to have like a balanced opinion, I would say, on this. Maybe we will be able in the future, I have no idea, but for now it seems like very difficult.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The point is that in this direction, we are trying with a collective of colleagues, I would like to say, and even friends, to actually experiment the borders of artificial intelligence system. I mean, artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence systems, because I think it's really a field where we can experiment, understanding the limits, understanding the application, and I mean, only in this direction we can learn, mostly. Of course, right now we have people that can lead us in understanding some of the things, as we were talking in the last minutes. But at the same time, it's really a matter of even practice, and like practice, I would like to say interdisciplinary. For example, there is like a friend of mine that is using generative AI for having a kind of psychologist, meaning that he's using for taking different approaches. Because as you know, like if you go to a psychologist, he or she has a specific approach. If you want to have like a broad of approaches, you can use like taking some of the thoughts and making a big bubble of different approaches. So this is just to say that we can diverge in the usage of artificial intelligence, and that is important too. So that's my suggestion, to experiment in line with my previous colleagues in this podcast, making not alone. That's the things I would like to add. Not alone, in a kind of interdisciplinary way. That would be great. And actually to be aware and curious to take into consideration all the back end of these systems, because we have to.
Okay, cool, Carlo. This was super interesting, and I think we managed with time as well to leave you free before your next call. So we are happy about this. I don't know if you want to add anything, any final remark or whatever.
No, I'm really glad. As I said at the beginning, I'm really glad that we had this conversation. Knock my door wherever you need, and the people that's gonna hear need. It would be great, actually. I think it's a conversation that needs discussion and confrontation as much as possible, because we are in the dimension of discovering.
I think for us it was also very important what you mentioned concretely regarding the academy, that you are creating this intersect a lot with the work that we are doing. So we'll surely be in touch. It's very, very interesting. Maybe we'll ask you as well to share the link for this, and we will add it to the podcast, so that maybe people can go and then just check the resources available.
That's true.
Cool. Thank you, Carlo. Have a nice day, and talk to you next time. Okay.
Thank you all. Ciao.